Remember that it's pointless to seek healing and love from the place that broke you. Remind yourself they knew what they were doing. They knew this would break you and hurt you. That's why you had such a close connection in the first place, for their absence to make you feel lonely. Situationships are unacceptable. Hello, my beautiful soul. The fact that you clicked on this video lets me know that you're either a Cancerian or a Pisces, also potentially a Virgo, or you're going through something in your life right now that's making you feel lonely and you would like to master the art of being alone. Can I give you a hug? Some words of encouragement? A little bit of girl talk? Allow me to be your big sis from the internet to help you through feeling lonely right now. So if you've tuned into this space because you're going through a breakup and you're experiencing that awkward feeling that comes with it, or you feel like you're often in a room full of people, yet you feel all alone and by yourself, this is the perfect spot for you to be in. My name's Vanessa Somuayina, and you guys also know me as the Unicorn Mom and your big sis from the internet. I usually create tarot-related videos and videos on spirituality, but I also want to create more videos and more content for you guys that is about self-development and self-help. So you've got another safe space on the internet where you're fully accepted as you are, and we just chill with one another and support each other. I plan on uploading this video to YouTube, but I will also make it available as a podcast because why not? All of the relevant links can be found below in the description box. So yeah, you guys, whatever you're doing, just relax into this space. Whether you're doing some things at home, cleaning up, reorganizing, or you're commuting to work or to school, or you're simply chilling and enjoying YouTube. This is your time for your personal self-development and self-love journey. And if there's one thing that I can promise you, and that is that after watching this video, you will be able to successfully master the art of being alone and beat loneliness for good. And you guys, I cannot stress this enough. As someone who has not been alone for most of their adult life, always kind of having one relationship after the other, it is beyond life-changing when you learn to be alone and by yourself, and for the first time you love it. For the first time you don't feel awkward, you don't feel like immediately changing the situation or going on online dating apps, trying to hang out with friends or meet someone new. You're simply just so content in where you are, in being in your own company, and you are enjoying it, you're loving it. You guys, I made that transition and I want to help you guys to make that transition as well, because once you get to this point, you will never settle for a relationship that doesn't fulfill you ever again, and you will make sure that you keep your self-worth and your standards high, and that way it's a win-win. If you do end up in a relationship, it is a mutually beneficial and respectful one that you're actually happy in. And if you're by yourself, you know you dodged multiple bullets and tons of red flags. But one reason why it's so important for you to beat loneliness and turn loneliness into solitude is as follows. When we are lonely, we not only react more intensely to the negatives, we also experience less of a soothing uplift from the positives. This is a quote by the well-known loneliness expert John Cachopo, which again highlights why it's so important for us to turn the one more negative emotion, namely loneliness, into one of choice, empowerment, and growth. So let's talk about the difference between loneliness and solitude. So loneliness is kind of rooted in more negative emotion, right? Because when you feel lonely, you feel like you're missing something. You feel like you're not quite complete. It is also that feeling that you get, as mentioned, after a breakup. Let's see what the cards have to say about loneliness as well. Oh, okay. In the Mandarin fish, the cards are also telling us that a time of loneliness is a time where it's important to be gentle with ourselves and take steps back if needed. I really feel like this oracle card is on point because you should be gentle with yourself when you're feeling lonely rather than beat yourself up, because that will only make it worse. It will make you feel more lonely, and then you'll be more vulnerable to giving into situations that aren't healthy for you. So before we delve a little bit more into how you can transform the loneliness to solitude and then to kind of your biggest superpower and time for growth, let's talk about solitude. Solitude is that feeling of being comfortable by yourself. Like you don't need anybody else. The most satisfying feeling, honestly, is to be in your space, to have your favorite snacks and movies, to feel comfortable, to do skincare, all of your bills being paid. Like, at this point in my life, I cannot even think of a better evening to just be spending by myself. And that's solitude. That's when you appreciate what you've got. You love being alone, and it is by choice. And you also know that you don't have to be alone. Of course, you can go out and meet friends. Of course, you can meet someone spontaneously as you're out that could be a romantic interest. But solitude is the art of being alone without feeling lonely. And that's also when creativity is said to really flourish. So if you're like an aspiring artist or someone who just has a huge to-do list that they still need to comb through and you're not getting anywhere, once you start to turn your loneliness into a time for heavy self-development and also your growth time, like sky is the limit. Because a lot of the things that you would like to accomplish professionally or even privately are things that nobody can really help you do. Think about it. Yeah, you may collaborate on certain things with other people, but you need to spend a lot of time in solitude to create your dream life. And to even want to spend that time in solitude, you have to learn to like your solitude. So if you want to create your own business, sure, you will be working with other people. You'll be cooperating with vendors, with people who design websites, with suppliers, with accountants. I mean, depending on your business, right? You get the idea. You will be dealing with other people. But first and foremost, to even build something, you'll be spending a lot of time alone. The same goes for creating your dream atmosphere in your home or in your room, your dream body, your dream daily routines. It's not something that someone else can do for you. It's even hard to do it with someone. At the end of the day, the action will have to be taken by you. Like if you have a dream body or a dream diet that you know makes you feel the best and look the best, no one else can eat the food for you and exercise for you and then have it give you that effect, right? You need to be the one doing it. And often you'll also have to do it alone. You can't have someone holding your hand all the time. And the truth of the matter is, and this is where we're getting to the part where you learn to turn loneliness into solitude, that is also by coming to the harsh realization that nobody's coming to save you. I know. You guys, for me, it was a shock as well. I was like, what? Like, nobody is going to come and make this situation better? I know. Pretty rude awakening. And also, if you're feeling alone right now because someone left you, or they basically made you break up with them because they left you no choice, remember that it's pointless to seek healing and love from the place that broke you. Remind yourself they knew what they were doing. They knew this would break you and hurt you. That's why you had such a close connection in the first place, for their absence to make you feel lonely. So don't try and seek help and comfort from there. There's no point. You'll just get hurt even more and feel even more lonely in the process. So we're going to change your perspective, and we'll pull a little oracle card for this, shall we? So we have the beluga whale. The beluga whale is a card of feeding your curiosity, and this was definitely on my list of things I wanted to discuss with you. We've all got things that we've always wanted to do and try out, and that is how you can overcome feeling lonely. That is how you can master the art of solitude. Do something that has always brought joy to you or you've always wanted to do. Get into it today. Stop waiting. Fill some of the voids and gaps in your day where you've got free time and you don't know what to do with yourself with the things that you're curious about. For me, for example, it was getting back into music. I always loved singing. And I said to myself, girl, in the year 2024, you're finally gonna record at least one or two of your own songs. You're finally gonna make this a thing. Okay, you've worked too hard and come too far to not cross this dream off of your bucket list. And you know what I did? Even mid going through a breakup, mid going through a really trying time of feeling intensely alone, I Googled singing teachers in my area. I found one, which now has become a friend of mine, a personal great friend of mine. She's amazing, and the only reason why I even got to not only being back into singing, also having found an amazing producer through the singing teacher, and being back in my element, feeling excited every time I'm doing this self-care for myself. The music lesson is self-care to me. All of that came from turning loneliness into solitude, into my growth zone. So rather than feeling like there's a void, I've got all of this time. I shifted my perspective. I also started to think to myself, you know what? If you are really meant to have this life of, for example, being married, having a home, having children, or a long-lasting relationship and other people in your life that you will have to consider, guess what? Now at your age, if you have a couple years by yourself and then you find the perfect person with whom you will be with for half a century, you will think back and you will say, I wish I would have enjoyed this alone time more. If you've got parents, grandparents, close friends who have been in really long-lasting relationships, I'm talking like decades, ask them whether they like to have some alone time. Ask them whether they wish they would have enjoyed their solitude more. I promise their answers will immediately make you feel better about your loneliness and remind you of the fact that this is actually a really special time in your life. And for most people, this is a time that is actually pretty rare because a lot of us will eventually end up in a or a few long-term relationships. And being alone will be something that is more rare for a lot of us human beings. And remind yourself, also sometimes being alone is a lot better than being with somebody that stresses you out or doesn't respect you. And that's where I want to put this little term, situationship, into the video. Ladies, girls, my beautiful babies of the zodiac. We'll also pull a card on this, but I just need to say to you guys, situationships are unacceptable. They are deterring your inner and personal peace from even being existent and from being in your growth phase. Because being in a relationship that, first of all, doesn't value you, that's why it's a situationship, because it is not even valuable enough for a label and exclusivity to be attached to it. And then second of all, is giving you emotional instability because you don't know where you stand. So can we just cancel that out of our lives? It's like either we thrive and we're living our best lives and we're the queens of everything, or then we are by ourselves. Crystal clear is what we need. You can't make this up, you guys. The cards just always know what to say. So crystal clear means we are either in a crystal clear relationship that is fulfilling both and giving both parties stability, and in which there are only two parties involved, okay? Or we are by ourselves and it is crystal clear that we are single. And another thing I just want to put out there is don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband, okay? Don't let your situationship stop you from finding the one. And if you want a ring and there has been no ring placed on this finger, you are single. Solitude, okay? You are by yourself. And I know this may sound really dramatic, but it's just coming from personal experience. So please take this as advice from a big sis that loves you, cares about you, and doesn't want you to go through the ringer the way she has, and doesn't want you to catch fleas by laying with dirty dogs the way she has. So really, I made a lot of really crappy, embarrassing mistakes, so you don't need to do that as well. I would just like to tell you that freedom comes from the empowerment of knowing that even if you tell somebody to piss off, you are still happy. You don't need them. Your happiness is completely dependent on you and is completely within your control. Now, getting to this point can take some time, but you'll get there. So I do want to talk a little bit more about feeling comfortable in being lonely or alone, right? Because we're turning loneliness into solitude, and how you can just kind of fast track that So a big way in which I was able to fast track, which wasn't 100% up to me, was also just going through a lot of traumatic experiences that make you very grateful to be by yourself, because it is a type of peace that you haven't had. So if someone has put you through an extreme roller coaster or is abusive, for example, verbally, physically, you're constantly stressed out, maybe you've even dealt with somebody who is a narcissist, then when you break free and you're alone, it's this huge feeling of relief. It's this huge feeling of having a ground beneath your feet again. And sure, at the beginning, you may miss them, you may feel lonely, but in your heart and instinctually and intuitively, you know that it was wrong. You know that you couldn't stay in a situation that made you feel so alone, even though you were in a relationship. So I just want to remind you that when trauma happens, it is really crappy, and I don't think anyone should go through certain types of traumas. But sometimes they can also put you on the fast track to really appreciating your own company, because your own company is safe company. You know that nobody's going to do something to upset you unless you like upsetting yourself, which some of us like to do. Hey, all my fellow Cancerians. Also, Geminis really like to upset themselves. Capricorns. All I'm trying to say is, sure, you miss them or you may feel alone, but you know what's an even better feeling than being around them? Not having your day ruined by 9 a.m. Not continuing to have to put up with someone's narcissistic, really, really childish behavior. So next up, the Siamese fighting fish is about your commitment being everything, even if that requires that you do it alone. You guys, these cards are so fitting all the time. I just love my tarot and oracle decks. The Siamese fighting fish is giving you this piece of divine information that you've got to fight for yourself. You got to put yourself first. Your solitude should be sacred, and you can turn it into a comfortable place by doing things that you love when you're alone, and things that you weren't able to do when you were not by yourself, you know, that other people stopped you from doing, especially that other person that, you know, you're maybe kind of trying to overcome the loneliness of the void of them no longer being here. You know how many things you wanted to do while they were around, but you couldn't do because you were in a situationship and it was not a together thing, or you didn't know if they would want to or even show up to it, or they kind of like ruined everything that you planned with them. That is like the more hardcore traumatic experience. But now you can do whatever you want and you can enjoy it. I apologize, you guys, my camera quit recording there for a second. So long story short, you can do whatever you want to do, and now that you're alone and by yourself, you can build your business empire without anyone making you feel weird or uncomfortable for doing your little manifestations, such as looking in the mirror and telling yourself that you are successful, that you are a person who is worthy of love and respect. Maybe you also always wanted to do a vision board and actually hang it up somewhere with pictures of all of your dreams and goals and aspirations, and you felt low-key a little embarrassed to have that around certain people. But when you're alone, you get to make your space your own. You get to do all of the things that you were too shy or embarrassed to do because someone else was there. And the more confident you get in this little bubble and the more secure you feel in it, all of a sudden, you guys, it is really life-changing. You get so confident in yourself, your worth, and you love yourself so much that if anyone comes around and they don't meet your standards and they try to get you to lower your needs and your standards for them because they're unwilling to meet you at the level that you're at, you will just tell them that they can turn the other way. You will just tell them to not let the door hit them on the way out because they can't get out of your life fast enough, because you know you don't need that. You know you're so happy by yourself. So in order for someone to come into your life, they really need to make it a lot better because you're already doing everything for yourself that you could ever dream of. So it is really about making yourself the main character and romanticizing being the main character. You guys, there are so many ways that I have, and you guys, there are some things that have helped me to master the art of being alone. I personally love taking myself out for nice lunches and dinners. I mean, fancy ones. I mean, going to my favorite restaurants Even if they are super fancy ones, swanky ones, why not? I get to get dressed up and look cute. I get to eat food that I absolutely love. I get to be in an atmosphere of people who inspire me, and also people who have a certain poise and elegance to them. I get to be in a room full of people that I like to assimilate with. I get to be within an aura and energy that is well kept, that is elegant, and that is respectful, which is exactly the type of energy that I want to give myself in solitude. So I put myself out there by going for my lunches and my dinners. When I'm doing work and I'm tired of doing work from home all the time, I will take myself to a really beautiful cafe, order my favorite tea, and sometimes I get a lot of things done while I'm out there romanticizing my life that I wouldn't have done if I would have just stayed at home, because somehow it just gives you a different kind of pressure when you're out and about. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, where you go to a restaurant or a place and you start working, and somehow just by being in a public setting and without thinking that everyone is seeing what you're doing, but just being in that public setting can make you feel like there's pressure on you because there's people around you. I don't know psychologically precisely what it is that makes the switch flick, but you can sometimes get some tasks done that you would otherwise procrastinate when you do them in an external environment around people who don't know you, strangers, but it's a very nice environment. It's an environment that makes you feel like you're the main character and you're taking yourself on the dates that you wish someone would have taken you on. Another thing that I do to love my alone time and my solitude is I have started to completely revamp my space, and I am making my home, my apartment, my house, whatever you'd like to call it, my dream house, finally. It will be my dream Barbie house, you guys. You will see in the next couple of weeks when I get my new beautiful U-shaped white sofa. You guys, I'm so excited. It will be the first time in my life that I am in a position where I can design my space exactly how I want it to be. I do not need to take into consideration anyone else's taste. I don't have to ask anyone what they think about it. I can just create my space to be like the dream space that I've always wanted to live in. I can do my dream things in them. Nobody is messing things up. Nobody is leaving things dirty. No one is stressing me out. It is just beautiful, you guys, when you come to this point in your solitude journey. Another thing that I also really love to do is to put on music and podcasts that inspire me deeply. So podcasts would be, well, like what you're listening into right now, things that make you feel uplifted, supported, and also give you some great ideas on what you can do in order to further yourself on your self-development journey and to better yourself. But I've also started listening to some jazz playlists on my Spotify. And no, you guys, this is not sponsored by Spotify, even though it just sounded like it. But I like to put that on in the morning because it immediately makes me feel so grown up and productive. And like, you know, I've got my life together. Is that weird? I don't know. But you guys try it and give me feedback on how you feel about it. But yeah, these are some ways in which I have started to romanticize my solitude, and some huge pluses that I've seen in being alone, where I don't feel lonely whatsoever. I never feel nervous anymore. I don't feel anxious. I'm not afraid of, you know, an argument or somebody calling me and screaming at me, just like craziness. Once you axe out craziness from friends or unhealthy relationships or just people who overstep boundaries, that could even be coworkers or bosses, my goodness, your solitude is healing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about our journey. Let's ask the Wild Muse Oracle deck for further inspiration on how we can turn our loneliness into solitude and master the art of being alone. Ooh, okay. Remind yourself here in the On Fire card that actually your loneliness and your solitude is your time to be on fire. It's your growth period. If you identify as female and you've got a womb and you may one day have kids, let me tell you, this is your growth period. This is your you time. This is the only time that you will have, unless you already have kids, of course. I know a lot of you don't, so this would be the only time for those of you who are single, unmarried, no kids, to really focus on your grind, on building your empire, on being that woman that meets their dream man, that meets their husband, and the man is like, wow, like you are established. I really need to level up to be with you. Because let me tell you, in solitude is where you create your future, is where you can be on fire, and you can also already establish a layer of respect for the future people in your life. Let me tell you how this works. So for me, for example, I have had my time of solitude. I am still enjoying it, and I am using this time to make myself better, right? For self-development, to be the best version of myself, to be healthy, to glow, to be mentally sane, to also learn to be a little tougher, to learn to set boundaries and stick to them. Like, these are my boundaries. This is what I want out of a relationship. If you can't do it, then move on. Because if you want to stick around, but you want to violate my boundaries, that means that you're getting something from me that is worth you sticking around, so only you are being fulfilled. So I am learning to say no to anything that doesn't fulfill me, and that is another really healthy thing here within the solitude bubble. But another thing is that I'm leveling up when it comes to my business, you guys. I am continuing to build my business. 2024 is a year in which I'm going to do wild things. I can already tell you that. I already feel it. I know that this will be the biggest year of my career and my business. And in this time, I'm building myself up to be everything I would want a man to be for me, or to be able to do for me. And then when I meet that person, they will see an equal. They will see she's not messing around. She's got her own thing going. There is nothing that I can do for her that she can't do for herself. So I better bring the love, the generosity of my time, the gift giving, the making sure I call her up daily and I'm consistent. They're going to be like, I really need to offer this girl something because she is on a solid high level. And I want you to do the same, because in the end, that will make the dating pool or the partnership pool so much more qualitatively high for you, because you won't even spend time dipping and dabbling in murky waters with, catfishes. No, you will go straight to, let's see what you'll go straight to with our below the surface oracle deck. You will go straight to, again, the Siamese fighting fish, someone who is your equal, someone who also put their commitment into growing. That's what this card stands for. And they did so even though they had to do it by themselves, because you will then find somebody who is not and has not spent all of their time just like bouncing from one partner to the next and just being all over the place, partying. No, you will meet your equal, someone who has also worked on themselves and their professional life and their journey, and who wants someone who is just as mature, who is just as much of an old soul, and who can be a healthy romantic partner. In order to master the art of being alone, it is imperative that you turn your solitude into your growth period. Do new things, learn new things, get out of your comfort zone. Like I told you guys, I have been going to singing lessons. I was thinking of doing therapy or singing lessons, and then I decided to do singing lessons. So now my poor singing instructor is also my therapist, basically. But now I'm also debating, maybe I can go to like a DJing class. And I have so many business events that I've already mapped out that are for e-commerce businesses, that are for publishing companies, for authors. And I'm going to go to all of these events in order to turn my solitude into my superpower, into my growth zone and growth period. I'm developing myself. I am becoming better, more eloquent, more versatile, more just interesting as a person. I'm developing so many different skills. I'm building my business. I'm becoming so successful that you are going to have to really be a special someone for me to say, yeah, it is worth the stress and hassle and sacrifice that a relationship entails for you to be in my life. And I know that the next person that I'm going to allow to have a space as like a romantic partner is going to be the one. They're going to be so amazing and kind and caring and loving and generous and honest, and just, I can feel it in my bones, you guys. So this is a very important period for me, and it's also a really important period for you. So that's why I'm giving you guys examples from myself and my life, because as I told you guys, I'm your big sis, okay? I've made mistakes. I have spent enough time learning, so you don't need to make the same mistake. Whether you're younger than me or older than me, it doesn't matter. I just want you to make sure that you do all of the things that you can to turn loneliness into solitude, into your growth period, into your time to shine. Because the truth of the matter is, you've got to create your dream life by yourself already. There's no one that's going to come into your life and give you your absolute dream life unless you're already creating it bit for bit by yourself. Because if you're waiting for someone to save you or to come in and pay your bills or take you on vacations or finally be the person that you can do the things on your bucket list with because you feel you can't do them alone, chances are you'll be vulnerable and you may run into the wrong type of person. And also, chances are all of your happiness will be attached to not feeling lonely. So it is super important that you're already creating and living your dream life. I want to give you guys another example of how I've been doing this. This is just such a chatty video. I hope that you guys will love this. Leave a little strawberry emoji in the comment section if you're still here, you guys. I don't even know if I should upload something so long and so chatty, but if the feedback is great and you guys thumbs this up and subscribe from this video and everything like that, I will continue this little series because I think it's just a great way for us to connect, to exchange ways in which we can become better, and also, of course, to master the art of being alone. So as I wanted to say, another way how I love to be by myself is I love to buy groceries and drinks that look beautiful in my fridge and to arrange them in an aesthetically pleasing way. For all of you guys who follow me on Instagram, you saw I recently did that. I bought all of these beautiful pink and purple and yellow colored drinks and I sorted them, like put them nicely in my fridge. I got all of these beautiful vegetables and fruit and I washed them and I put them in glass containers and my fridge just looked so Instagrammable. Not that I'm like a huge Instagrammable aesthetic type of person. I mean, I try my best since social media is my job, but it's not like everything in my life is aesthetic, but just creating little things that represent your dream life in your surroundings and in your home is a great way for you to start living your dream life. Because now every time I open my fridge, it's well organized, it looks beautiful, I'm immediately drawn to eat something healthy. That is goals for me. That is part of my dream life. And that is part of just happiness for me when I am by myself. It is solitude. I am choosing to be in this space that I'm making so cozy, comfortable, productive, and wonderful for myself. And I feel better, more grounded, and happier than ever. Another way how you can actually make this your growth period and create your dream life is to reconnect with friends and family that you didn't connect with for a really long time and strengthen platonic relationships. So all the relationships that are not romantic ones, because sometimes, you know, those can fall off or fizzle out, and to reconnect and really find ways to have such deep, fulfilling friendships. For me, as of lately, it has been very deep, fulfilling friendships with my female friends, but also with a few select male friends, and it has just sincerely changed my life to prioritize my family and my friendships and also myself, like meeting people who I consider family and friends more often, and just even on the way going there feeling amazing because I'm already singing in the car to my favorite songs. I'm blasting music that I love. I'm wearing outfits that make me feel so comfortable and so elegant and beautiful and whole. And just the act of romanticizing your connections, the friendships, the ones that you know are most likely going to last a lifetime, that is such an art form of being alone. One thing that I also definitely want to do, but this is planned for the future in a couple weeks or months, and I wanted to do something that is kind of like a Friendsgiving or a Galentine's Day, where I just invite all of my closest, mostly girlfriends, well, my closest, all of them, because I don't have like a huge friend circle, but the friends that I do have, I consider to be good friends, and to invite them to my home and, cook some lovely food for them. We can watch a movie together. We can do some really fun, like, growth games with each other. I was thinking of writing really deep, profound questions on pieces of paper, putting it in a jar, and then, like, everyone gets to pull one, and then we answer these questions with one another to heal together, to talk about topics that are not surface level but actually pretty deep. And also I wanted to do like little gift bags because I am such a gift giver. I love giving gifts. Like, the love language of gifts is one that I love so much. And I love giving gifts, and I also, of course, love receiving gifts. So that is also another criteria for me when dating moving forward. I want someone who sees that I like it and does it and doesn't make it weird. I don't know why the love language of gift giving is always so demonized and made to seem as though it's materialistic. Even in the animal world, like, male animals court their female counterparts by bringing gifts for them, okay? So let's stop demonizing the gift giving. It is a valid love language. It's so beautiful. And it's a thoughtfulness. It's about, oh, I thought about you and that's why I got this, or oh, I put extra thought into this, or extra craftsmanship to make this for you and to make you feel special. So these are ways in which I want to continue to romanticize my solitude and to just do things that I love by myself, but also involving people who I'm not with 24/7, but I'm able to strengthen those relationships because I have time in solitude to think about them, to plan for those relationships, and to connect more deeply with people who are secure in themselves and who have a positive impact on me and my mental health. And to also, of course, be a positive impact on them and their lives, and do things for others when I'm in solitude that I otherwise may have not had the time to do. You guys, I gotta say, I feel like I'm even slightly becoming addicted to the art of being alone. There are nights where I feel like I would rather be at home than even go to a nice restaurant or something like that. Even New Year's Eve, I almost stayed home rather than going to various invites of people to either have like at-home get-togethers or go out to parties, to restaurants. You guys, I would have been so happy to even just stay at home, and knowing that is so fulfilling. It makes me feel so strong. It makes me feel like I've come so far on my solitude journey, on my journey of going from loneliness to solitude to really being strong and being alone and loving it and being happy in it. And it just gives me so much joy. Like, you guys, once you get to this point where you love your solitude, the joy you will have in the little moments of just being by yourself. You don't know how often I just give myself a hug during the day and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is your life. I can't believe you have a beautiful home. You can get food to nourish your body. Like, look how much fun that you're having in solitude. Look how much you're reading. Look how you're journaling. Look how motivated you are to push your business forward. Look at how many things you have time to research to better your life. And also, as I told you guys, I have huge aspirations for my career to also continue to thrive in your career of helping people. And I also really want to employ people by creating jobs. That is also an important part of my career for me. I want to create jobs that are great for people's mental health. So these are my goals as an example. You have your goals. And I just want you to know that you can create your dream life best, fastest, most effective in solitude. And it will make you a different kind of quality and level of person. Not that you're a low quality person if you don't enjoy your alone time or your solitude. That's not what it is. I wouldn't say I was a low quality person because of that when I struggled to be alone. But I just want to tell you, it's different once you're so confident in yourself that also changes your selection process of who you allow into your space, because you know you've got so much peace going on that you won't just let anyone waltz in and ruin that. And if you're feeling lonely and you think back at letting people into your life at a time where you were really vulnerable and then therefore overlooking red flags, and then it makes sense that they were not the right people for you to have in your life, don't be so hard on yourself because of that. Don't be feeling as though something that you did is the reason why you're here, because, you know, blaming yourself, it's not it. Okay, because it's not your fault. You're just human. We've all made mistakes, and we've all allowed people to make us feel lonely or overstep boundaries that we should have never allowed them to. And the blue whale, for all of you who are kind of new to oracle cards or don't know much about them, this is the last card of the below the surface deck. And the last card, this corresponds to the master number 44, which is a number of fulfillment. And this is a card that shows that you should dream big and it will all work out. That's the message behind this card. And you guys, the cards today have been really fitting in this talking session. I've really loved how they've added a different layer and depth to our conversation, or monologue, I guess. And the blue whale is about ultimate fulfillment and understanding that the ultimate form of fulfillment starts within you. It starts with accepting yourself. It starts with loving your solitude. It starts with realizing, yes, certain demons and pains and hurts will come up. You will feel like calling them. You will feel like running back to those toxic friends that made you feel less lonely. But the thing is, like, you've got to decide what you want in life and where your priorities lie, and decide that if that means you will live a life that is toxic by going back to those people, better to start learning to be alone today. Better to start learning the art of loving your alone time, and then slowly creating a selection of friends and people close to you, and even picking a romantic partner that you know just really fills your heart up with joy, is authentic to you and your needs, and is actually an upgrade from being in peace by yourself and feeling great alone as well. So yeah, my beautiful souls, I would say I feel as though we've talked for a while. We really have. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that this made you feel at home and comfortable. If it did, make sure you subscribe to my channel to never miss another video. And yeah, you guys, I'm excited for the next topic I'm going to do in this kind of self-development chat format that's meant to support you, that's meant to be a safe space for you. Please do leave your comments below. I love reading them and responding to them. Any other video suggestions you may have, leave those below as well. And you guys, I love you all so, so much, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming pieces of content.